Hey, what's up, guys? This is Justin from Justice League Swag, and today I'm going to be doing my deck profile on my Dragonic Overlord, the end deck. First off, I've been playing the deck for like 2 weeks now. I went X1 the first week playing it out of 22 players. In the second week, I went completely undefeated. Like, I didn't lose a single round. The first week playing it, I only lost to being like sacked out before top 8. Round 1 against Zorga, he hit an early game over trigger against me, which killed my hand because like Soakea has like the best over trigger in the game. Game 2, I hit my over trigger against him, revenge match, and won it. Then game 3, he just hit his over trigger again early. So it's like, can't do anything about games like that. But the reason why I love this deck and this route line is, like, this is probably the best one in Dragon Empire because you can just straight up search your perfect guard. Like, bar skill when you ride over Nahalem is so good. And you pretty much always get it off, especially, like, with rushing your opponent. And how I rush my opponent is with my grade 1 lineup. But first, I'm going to do Grey Zeros. I am playing 2 Burning Flail Dragon, but because of the prison matchup, I'm probably going to bump that up to a 4. And then 4 more crit, so 8 crit. I've seen a lot of people online that are playing like 5 draw or they're playing 4 draw. I don't think that's correct because you're playing a restanding Vanguard where you have 4 drive checks if you're playing up and through the end. So the purpose of the game is to deal your opponent 6 damage, not for you to draw cards and try to look cute. So putting your opponent down as fast as possible is advisable. So I'm playing 3 draw and then the over trigger. Lastly, for triggers, I'm playing the 4 heal. I'm playing this heal, the hard counter, like restanders, like Bastion or the Greya, like for their second or like last attacks. That helps you out a lot because you want to use as low amount of hand as possible when blocking attacks. So I tried this a lot of the games like this past week. I didn't even need it. I ended up discarding it for discard fodder because I played against like Ava, Phantom Blast or Overlord, like decks that don't restain rear guards but call other rear guards for attack. So it was like, this was completely pointless, but I'd rather have it just in case I play the mirror match or I play Bastion or the Greya, which are really popular decks at my local. And I will not play the new heal in this deck because that new heal is bait and you straight up search perfect guards in this deck, so you don't really need the new heals in Overlord. Maybe like in other decks, but nah, not in this. So next up, Great One Line, 4 perfect guards. This meta is literally PG or GG. I am playing 2 Stealth Dragon, Kizrenji. I'm about to butcher that. Yeah, Kizrenji. The reason why I'm playing this is because it's some matchups you'll get where they need key rear guards like Trick Moon. It's always a good idea to pop a Trick Moon that's like in the back row, not behind the Vanguard, because it's a huge minus to a, well, Bavsagra player when they have to call back Trick Moon and it's off to the side because they're not getting that counterblast back. They get the counterblast back if they call Trick Moon behind the Vanguard. So with this deck, you're going to search out your PGs. How I play it, I always mulligan and I'll keep a PG if it starts in my opening hand. And then you search it with bar going into the Harlem. So you usually have 2 to 3 perfect guards a game. On a really good game, you'll have 4. But popping like the 10k intercepts for Ava is really good too. I had an opponent gift me a free retire one match where he forgot this card was in one of the lanes and called his grade 3 he was attacking with in the same lane that this was in. So I was just like, oh yeah, next turn counter blast 1, soul blast 1, bye. 10k intercept, how about no? So I mean, it's really good to get rid of annoying cards. But otherwise, it's discard fodder. Because, I mean, if you get it late, like early game or late game, you can decide if you need it depending on the matchup. Like if you're playing against something like Gravidia that really needs his rear guards, it's really good to pop and get rid of that token as soon as possible. Lastly, for great ones, is my boy, hey, Drag Ritter Sheob. Like, this is the rush card of the deck. The reason why I'm running 3 is because I want to see it early. Early game, a lot of decks in this game do absolutely no control at all. So even if you're playing against Prison or something, it's a low possibility that they'll have an answer to this before they hit grade 3. Same as Gravidia. So you can early game rush with this guy safely. How I do it is, if I high roll, I play this on my grade 2 turn. You only have to play 1, and then the rest discard fodder, or they play behind rear guards only when I'm pushing for game. Otherwise, if my opponent goes first, this is going to be on my grade 1 turn, because you want to start getting this guy off before your opponent can control the field. But this is really good when you're on bar and you're swinging, going second, and it's a 19K lane. They drop a 15K guard. That's one to pass. Now they're rolling the dice on whether you're going to hit the trigger or not, but it's still good for you because now they're wasting a lot of shield. Same with grade 2 turn. Your grade 2 turn will be like 21K on the Harlem. My grade 2 lineup, I do not care about my rear guards, so I play a ton of rear guards. I think I play 18, including the Nahalem that's in the route line, because Overlord's supposed to be an aggressive deck. So I'm playing 4 of the Burner Dragon. It's really good, but you need to pay attention like on your turns and the game state. So, for example, it goes in the soul as a discard, and then you give a unit power. Yes, a unit, so you do not have to give your Vanguard power. If your opponent checked the damage trigger, it's better for you to give it to Nahalem that's already 15K, or, perfect example, Burnout, who is 20K if you swing with your Vanguard twice. And we're playing Burning Horn Dragon at 4. So I call him Burnout. But he is probably the killer of the deck. And a lot of times while playing this deck, your opponent will swing at your rears. And they always swing at the Nahalem before they swing out the Burning Horn. And then Burning Horn ends up killing them. Why? Because a Burning Horn lane, late game, Persona Rod, plus his skill being triggered twice of gaining the 5K and boosted by this or this, means your opponent loses. In early game, a lot of times they don't pay attention to that. All they pay attention to is the Nahalem that keeps giving you Vanguard power. But Nahalem, if somebody swings at it with like high power, just let it go. Like the way that I built the deck, if anybody's just swinging at your rear guards, let them die. You're playing enough rear guards where you can kill them. Like even on the Persona Rod, because I'm playing Flash Strike at 3. On a Persona Rod turn, Flash Strike can hit your opponent. If you dump one of these guys and put it in the soul, this makes a 25K column. This, boosted by a grade 1, is swinging magic numbers. And if your opponent's already dropping 15K guards on your Vanguard, they don't have a lot of guard to drop on your rear guards as well. So it's like your crits and power and your high numbers on rear guard are going to get through. But everybody tunnel visions on killing your Nahalems. Like they'll kill these too, the Burning Horn. So these don't matter. After you play his effect, he's pretty much dead. But ideally on a turn, I will only play 2. Like you automatically get a Nahalem from going through the route line, then I'll play a Burning Horn Dragon. And that's just because I want to search the end for my 5th turn. So my second grade 3 turn on being the end. Your first grade 3 turn being on the end, playing extra Nahalem is really good, because then your Vanguard would be swinging 28K on your the end turn, which is really strong. That's like them dropping the 15K card and doing nothing. And you got to remember, like the way that the game has changed, the way that people are building decks, a lot of people are running those 10K heal triggers, and they're running the 10K draw triggers, and they're maxing them so they don't have the hand. And if they're dropping the perfect guard on your first swing, guess what? You restand with twin drive. So you ban 28K on the twin drive, and if you check a crit, you can easily just give the crit to Vanguard and the power to a rear, and have your rear guards overpower them. But Flash Strike, I'm playing at 3. Flash Strike you want to play on your first to end turn if you've been rushed and you have a ton of counterblast open. Otherwise, you discard it for discard fodder, or it's your backup if you don't get another in the Persona ride on the following turn. But lastly, for grade 2s, playing 3 Ethan. So Ethan is really good. I think Ethan is better than Gojo. Why? Because this card allows you to draw, and it you can't boost your Vanguard, so you don't gain the power. Well, you also don't care. Even if you're 18k with your Vanguard swing, you're 18k restanding. So it's still a possibility of you hitting triggers, especially if you're going directly through the line. And your opponent has, I love it because it's like on an 18k Vanguard swing, with him just being on the field, I've had people perfect guard my Vanguard just to try to deny me getting the skill off. And then my next turn on the Persona ride, I completely overpower them and still get the skill off because he's still on the field. While as Gojo has to be boosting. Gojo is a -1. This is a -0 to counter charge, which is really good. And then the plus goes to hand, which you can use for discard fodder. So in a good turn, if your Vanguard hits, you can use his skill first, counter charge 1, draw the card, and then use the end skill to counterblast 1 and discard 2 cards. So pretty spicy. Then lastly, for grade 3 lineup, I am just playing 4 of the End the Boy. I like this version instead of the SP, so yeah, I'm not SPing this out. I'm only playing this because a lot of people were playing a lot of units in their decks that don't have shield. If you noticed with my deck, my entire deck has hand guarding shield except for this, because this is like the win con, the ace of the deck. I don't believe in playing extra copies of the regular Dragonic Overlord in the deck just for Burning Horn Dragon to have more cards to hit, so you +1. Okay, you counterblast 1 for a +1 that doesn't help you win the game. That's a waste of a counterblast. Burning Horn's skill is structured the way it is just so that you can get the counterblast back if you don't get this. This is your win con. The original Dragonic Overlord isn't going to win you any games. It can swing at a rear guard and your opponent can't go for it. Big whoop. But this is your win con. If you don't hit it with Burning Horn, that's fine. You get to counterblast back. But this is my deck profile for the end. Hope you can take something away from it. And good luck out there, Dragon Empire players.